Welcome into the Alabama Football Report. I am Tom Downey. We're about to have a bit of a spring practice preview for you guys today. If you want even more videos focused on spring practice, maybe some position battles, depth charts, and of course updates from spring practice leading up to A-Day, then like today's video. NFL free agency's here. It's going to be a big priority for us. Chat Sports. Show the bosses you guys want this and like today's video. Our number one spring storyline, placing the quarterback, right? Bryce Young, potential expected betting favorite to be the number one overall pick. He's gone. And there is at least some semblance of uncertainty in terms of who the next Alabama quarterback will be. If not for week one, maybe later down the line. Jalen Milroe is the favorite, of course, here to be the starting quarterback. He was the guy who subbed in when Bryce Young got hurt last year. He is a very different style of quarterback. I think this is more of the Sims style quarterback than the more typical Blake Sims, more of the typical drop back prototype that Bryce Young is. Young's a great athlete too. That's why he's going to be top 5 lock, whatever. Milroe needs growth as a passer. I would assume Tommy Rees, more on him in a little bit. If it is Milroe as expected to an extent as the starting quarterback, a lot of quarterback runs utilize that athletic ability, as we saw in a small sample size last year. The other contender is a former 5-star quarterback group. That is Simpson out of Tennessee. Barely played last year. 4 or 5, 35 yards. You could barely call that a real sample size there. But Simpson will try to push Milroe at minimum at spring practice this year. And you better believe if Milroe isn't playing great, there will be plenty of calls to make the move to Ty Simpson. Not that dissimilar from the Jalen Hurts to a Tagovailoa storyline a few years ago. But ends the same way. Everyone's happy. So who starts at quarterback? TS for Ty Simpson. JM for Jalen Milroe. Get those predictions in for me in the comment section right now. Kind of tying into everything around Alabama football this year is the coordinator changes. 2 new ones are in, one young, one old. Tommy Rees is the new offensive coordinator. Bit of a surprise, but fun hire. He has a quick ascent to his current job, was a Northwestern GA, Chargers offensive assistant, QB's coach, then OC, and that's all in less than a 10-year span there. I am very curious what he does on offense, replacing Bill O'Brien, who, hey, Bill, run a quick game concept one time. All we were asking for. Meanwhile, Kevin Steele is back at Alabama. His 3rd stint, technically speaking, with the organization. Long-time defensive coordinator, a bunch of different stops, has been a head coach. Technically was also the Tennessee head coach, the interim for a couple of months amid the disaster in 2021. Got hired as the DC, made the interim, and then the new regime comes in and still actually sits out a year from coaching. Curious how those two mesh and how they hopefully get better results on both sides of the ball in 2023. Now, we know this is a college football channel, right? But we have an NFL Draft YouTube channel. And I'm very curious how many Alabama fans out there follow the NFL Draft. If you do, go subscribe to that channel. YouTube.com/ChatNFL of NFL mock drafts, prospect discussions, plenty of Alabama conversation too. You'll see how highly ranked Will Anderson and Bryce Young are on my own big board, plus guys like Jahmyr Gibbs. Go subscribe. YouTube.com/ChatNFL. Links in the comment section and the description of today's video. Section the pinned comment to make your lives just a little bit easier. Number 3 storyline. How will the new playmakers emerge? Jahmyr Gibbs is a significant loss for Alabama because not only was he your leading rusher in terms of yards, no one caught more passes last year than Gibbs. And I'm of the belief that, you know what, the Crimson Tide were missing some pieces. They didn't have the best results as Patrick. I was expecting Jermaine Burton to be a 1,000-yard guy. He was. I thought Corey Brooks came along decently as the year went along. Prentice had some flashes there. You need a lot better play out of these 3 wide receivers if you're going to have that significant step forward as an offense, knowing you're losing Bryce Young. New quarterback, you need the other supporting cast members to step up their game. We'll see if any of the young freshmen impact. One name to keep an eye out for. Both 24/7 Sports, ESPN, others have reported JUCO wide receiver Malik Benson really impressed because he was there for bowl prep. Of course, could not actually do anything in the bowl game, but he was there for bowl prep for Alabama in New Orleans. If that positive upward trend continues, he could end up emerging as a starter for Alabama, and that would be a big impact for the Crimson Tide, who I think, look, he had that unbelievable run of guys like Waddle and Smith, etc. None of your next one. Benson be that? Probably asking for a bit too much, but if he can give you 600 yards, that's going to be valuable. The other transfer worth mentioning here is C.J. Dupree, the former Maryland tight end. Some decent buzz around him, taking a big step forward. Mike Locksley at Maryland, of course, was there. Now he goes to Alabama for Dupree. Tommy Rees had a great track record of tight ends in the past at Notre Dame. He could maximize Dupree, at least from a play-calling perspective. Also a new running back one, Jace McClellan. There'll be others. I think Roydell Williams will make a nice impact for this team. McClellan's the next man up. I love the frame, 5'11", 212. Showed some flashes alongside Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm expecting a big step forward this year for McClellan. When it comes to the offense overall, how confident are you in what the Crimson Tide have with, I think, a lot of uncertainty? Sound off in the comment section. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. Spring storyline number 4. How about the new defense stars? And some previous ones, I suppose, there. Crimson Tide are losing a bunch. Will Anderson is going to be the top player on a lot of teams' big boards. Might not go till like 3 or 4 because of positional value and quarterbacks and whatnot. But he and others are gone. We'll spend time on the defensive backs, by the way. Henry Toto among your front 7 guys not gone. But what do we know about Alabama? They always reload. That's what happens when you finish top 2 worst case in every single recruiting cycle you've ever done. The name I can't wait to watch this year is Dallas Turner. The numbers did dip. He was a 10 TFL, 8.5 sack guy in 2021. Only 4 sacks this year. I think the junior year breakout is going to be massive. I would not be surprised if he goes top 5, just like Will Anderson will. I am also excited to see Jaheim Otis this upcoming year. Originally listed at 370, he had got his kind of weight down to more in the 350 range. The latest update from Alabama on like their website and whatnot is he's down to 328. That's a 20-pound drop from the last update. That slimming down, I think, will lead to better results for Otis. Alabama, again, is a great record of impact defensive lineman. Maybe this is their new full-fledged Deron Payne. Wouldn't that be nice? Chris Braswell, meanwhile, the other edge beyond Anderson, Dallas Turner, etc., has bulked up. He's up 15 pounds. Significant weight gain for Braswell. If he hasn't lost a step, that should, in terms of quickness, that should lead to better results as he'll be a starter, of course, the rotate edges, alongside Dallas Turner on the outside this year. Somebody's got to break out in a big way on defense this year, and maybe it's a secondary guy. Get to those in a second. Who breaks out on defense this year? Sound off in the comment section. While you're down there, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. The channel's back. We're going to keep doing videos here, so make sure you are subscribed. Free Alabama football videos right here, youtube.com/@RollTideTV. Number 5, it's about the secondary. The Crimson Tide, Nick Saban, are replacing some significant contributors. Jordan Battle, the safety, will be drafted. Brian Branch should be a first-round pick. Eli Ricks should go some point day 2. DeMarco Helms also is, if not going to be drafted, which I think he probably does, will get UDFA changes across the NFL. Those are 4 basically starters for you in the back end, although a bit of an asterisk on Ricks since he's banged up a good portion of the year. Malachi Moore now becomes kind of your veteran back-end safety player. Would not be shocked if he moves to kind of that star position, replacing Brian Branch, a pivotal role. We'll see if that ends up being the case or not. Kool-Aid McKinstry, I think he's going to be a superstar, both in college football and the NFL. I think he's already really friggin' good, but with no Eli Ricks or Brian Branch getting the attention, I think McKinstry's year is going to be, when you see the 2024 early mock drafts, he's going to be in round 1, I promise you. This is what it kind of looks like on the defensive back depth charts at this point. Terrion Arnold, McKinstry, Moore, I think you feel pretty good about. I did not put Caleb Downs in particular as a starter in the secondary, but I would not rule that out. Also, there's the other Devonta Smith in the secondary now, too, for the Crimson Tide, because that's just fun. The other young guys, a chance to break out. Bama's had a great track record, but they need more guys to step up, given all the losses in the back end.